Hello everybody, Casey Turner here from Express Your Artsy Soul. Welcome to the 10 Artsy Questions Hop. It is brought to you by Nina Fickett from Nina Fickett Designs and Hope Smitherman of CraftyHope. And they have organized 10 of us to bring 10 artsy questions. We each came up with a question, and then each of us are going to answer them. And you can just, hop from one person to the next on their YouTube channel and hear what we have to say. So I'm thrilled to be a part of this as I create, some art journal pages for you. And I will answer the 10 artsy questions as I work. So hopefully this isn't a complete disaster. Sometimes these are the pages I'm going to work on. And as I'm looking through my stash here on the side, where you can't see the stuff I have hidden, that's all kind of a mess off camera here. I'm finding things that I want to throw in here. So hopefully this will go well, as sometimes I tend to get a little distracted, if I can be honest with you, when I have to talk and create. So I thought about doing a voiceover, and in the quiet of my home right now, because everyone is in bed, I thought, let's give this a whirl and see what happens. So So just to rattle off the names of the people involved: Nina Fickett Designs, Hope Smitherman of CraftyHope, I mentioned them before, Ricki Midbrod, I probably am going to butcher people's names, from Ricki Tikki Tavi, Amy Long Emond of Birdie the Recycled Hippie Chick, Stacy Cook of Studio Stacy, Laura Dame of Laura Mixed Media, Stacy of Flighty Rambler, Erin Bishop of EB Mixed Media, and Nicole Watson of Nicole Watson Art. So I do believe you are going to be going to Laura Dame of Laura Mixed Media next after my video. So I will have all of this stuff in the description of this video. So, okay, let me get moving here with my creating and with my questions. I have not pre-thought about the answers. I honestly can't remember what the questions are, so I do have them on my iPad in front of me so that I can read them and answer them as I go. So, first question: what in your artistic career has given you the most joy? Oh gosh, that is, I feel like that's loaded. Like that's a loaded, my response is, gosh, I don't know. Well, my first thought is the friendships. I mean, I have made friends with people from all over the world. Like a dear friend is in the Netherlands, and we are just, she is just a dear friend to me. Anouk Carson from Korea Nook. And I've also literally became best friends with God's Girl Angie on Instagram, Angie Spencer, who lives in Indiana, and I'm in Pennsylvania. And so I never, ever would have met them if it was not for this community. And I'm not sure that I would consider what I do an artistic career. But I mean, that's the goal, right? The goal is to have this kind of be an artistic career for me. But I would say the friendships that I never ever would have met these people. And I mean, to be able to comment and message people on Instagram and call them by name, you know, and it's just the support. And you know, when you know, if that makes any sense. When you know that you click with someone, when you know that you mesh well with someone, you just kind of know. And I really have had that with several people. So yeah, so that would be my response. Okay, if you could only have 5 art supplies, what 5 supplies would you choose? Well, white gesso is a must. I would say white gesso, collage papers, Mod Podge. Gosh, that's only 3. Oof. Napkins. Napkins, hands down, because if I can only have 5 things, napkins are like a go-to. You can get so many, you can find like so many cool prints and, you know, add something so gorgeous to your work with just one simple supply. So that's 4. Tough. White gesso, collage papers, Mod Podge, and napkins. I need one more. I mean, acrylic paint. If I can choose a supply and not like a specific one paint, it was supplies, right? So let's say plural, that's plural. So I'm saying my acrylic paints, like I need more than one, but I would say acrylic paint. Yeah. Collage papers, Mod Podge, white gesso, napkins, acrylic paint. Okay. I can do a lot with that. Maybe just to, you know, prove that I can do that, maybe I should just use that in my work here today. How about that? But now I have to remember that that's what I'm going to use. I've already used Mod Podge and collage papers. Now let's go with the white gesso. Okay, moving on. I don't want to bore you and like have you on here forever. So I'm going to try to not talk too much, and I have a tendency to do that. So, question number 3. What is your go-to color palette combination or family of colors? Well, I think I'm using them right here. I typically gravitate toward some kind of blue, some kind of green. They're my absolute favorite colors. I love, green is my favorite. Absolute favorite color. And I love blue, that's my second favorite. But I kind of feel like I often need some kind of pink. So I do really enjoy earthy tones, but I like kind of the pop of some form of pink, or, you know, like I love here, try to see if you can see well. I love these colors, but I love this like really bright, like kind of fuchsia, that it just really stands out. But yeah, I mean, I feel like these brown, I really like to have brown like coffee in my work. Yeah. So blues, greens, some kind of pink, creamy, you know, creamy, like parchment color, and coffee, brown. I guess that would be it right now. I was going through a phase where I was like adding yellow to like everything. I just really wanted to add yellow. And I'm not even a fan of yellow, to be honest. I kind of feel like I want to have this 14 in here. My birthday is in 2 weeks on the 14th, and actually 2 weeks from now, but you will be seeing this the day before my birthday. September 13th is when this goes live, and my birthday is the very next day. So I kind of feel like I want to use this somehow. But okay, that was side note. That you didn't need to know that. Total side note. But anyway, okay, moving along. I told you I get very chatty. How do you feel about digital kits, freebies, or otherwise? Do you use them? Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. This is, you know, honesty hour. I do like being authentic and being real. I'm not a fan. There's just something I love about vintage ephemera. You know, as you saw here, like, you know, this is an old, from the 40s, the years cut off, but I love vintage ephemera, you know, vintage hymnal papers, and I make my journals out of all old book pages, and I love ledger paper, and, you know, just vintage ephemera. I'm a huge fan of that, and there is just something so wonderful about it. So I prefer that. I have used digital kits when I was doing some scripture writing plans with Nanda Anderson from The Apple of His Eye by Nanda on Instagram. And I really, really liked her digital kits because, you know, they were specific for the scripture writing plan. You know, everything was right there for you to use. And so I did really enjoy that. But as far as, you know, digital kits goes, I don't really ever partake in digital kits. I mean, I certainly don't mind when other people use them. I mean, I would never judge that, but there is, like, there's gorgeous kits out there, like gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. But I just can't help but love vintage, you know, authentic vintage. You know, I don't even copy, you know, my ledger paper and things. I legit use them, as I know others in this, that are involved in this hop, they do that as well. They use the authentic ledger papers, and I just really love to do that. So, freebies, I mean, I'm all about freebies. Who isn't, right? Who isn't all about freebies? I have been, you know, asked to, you know, to accept some free products if I were to use them and you know, promote them a bit, you know, so I definitely am okay with that. Because, and I will absolutely do my best to promote someone's product if they are, you know, offering that to me. That is a no-brainer. So I'm totally down with that. Okay, I think I answered that. Number 5, what motivates you to create art? Or what is the why behind your art? Well, I started creating, well, I've always been creative. I've always done some form of art, some form of creativity, whether it was, you know, high school drawing or whatever. And then I took up, like, my grandmother taught me to sew and to quilt, to hand quilt, and all those things. And so I was doing that. I ended up making like quilted handbags for, you know, a couple years and sold them all over the place. And then I got into t-shirt quilts and baby blankets and, you know, things like that. And so I kind of got away from that. But then in a very difficult time in my life, a few years ago, I discovered art journaling. I discovered mixed media and art journaling, and wow, it just was something incredible that I needed for my soul. You know, my Instagram and Facebook group and everything, my name is Express Your Artsy Soul, because this is what I truly, truly needed for my soul. And so I added fabric. Oopsies. I'm totally having like a squirrel moment where I'm being distracted. And I said I was going to use only 5 supplies. I fibbed because I added this. Okay. Anyway, so I really needed art journaling for my soul, because this was a way for me to express myself and what was going on inside. You know, I always say, in a safe and non-judgmental way, I am able to express myself and my emotions. And I oftentimes will write prayers. You know, I'll write my prayers out in my journal, and it's messy and I probably can't even reread it, but you know, I write it, and it doesn't matter if I can't read it, you know, because God knows what I wrote. He knows what's in my heart. So I need to create for like literally an expression of my soul, you know, to get what's going on in the inside out. And it is really, really good for me. It has been such an amazing thing. So therapeutic. And I can't imagine my life without this form of self-expression and creativity. I really, truly can't. So yeah, there's my why. Look at this little sweetie in her little bathing suit, 1939. Oh, how precious. She's not related to me at all. I got this from like a pack of photos at a flea market or something. And she just is a little sweetie. So, okay, let's see here. Moving right along. What is your favorite substrate to work on and why? Okay. Favorite substrate. I love, you know, handmade journals. I love vintage papers. I'm really trying to figure out how this is going to work here. But I just love vintage papers. And I really want to, I don't want to cover this, but yet I want to cover it because I want it down here. I really do. So that kind of stinks that I have to cover the year. But you know, maybe I won't use, maybe I'll stick that there. Anyway, okay. I'm not like a canvas using person. I'm not, I mean, I've done some canvases like just for personal use, but, and I have sold a few on like Etsy or whatever, but I really just like using vintage papers and in handmade journals. I really do. I don't even really use watercolor paper or mixed media paper. I am like 100% using, here, let me pull out one of these journals here so you can see. This one is really arted up, but like, you know, this is just book pages. These are, well, here we go. So like ledger paper, you know, ledger paper, book pages. You know, these are all like just old book pages from books falling apart, you know, and invoices and receipts, and that's what I like. That is what I prefer. So that's my favorite. I'm really trying to figure out how to work this 14 in here. Okay. Oh gosh, what's my time? 23 minutes. I got to get moving here. Okay. Next question. Oh, I never answered why. Why? I just like the old, I love like nostalgic things. I love old things. I love history, like the history of things. Not necessarily history of the subject, but like, I just love, you know, I live in a really old home. It's 123 years old. I just love what could have happened here, what did happen here, or the original charm of the house and just all that stuff. And so that's kind of how I feel about my work, my journals, you know, the art that I'm creating and what I'm creating on. It's just, it gives me a good start, a good like foundation to start creating on. I'm not a fan of white blank pages, because then I will have to go and put book pages on it, as you saw me do that. And this is even book pages, but I still collaged because it just needs more. It needs more fun. It needs more character. It needs more, you know, texture, text, all the things. So yeah, I guess that answers the question why. Okay. When you work in layers, which one is your favorite? It's hard. Honestly, I would say I really do like the collaging part, like the first layers, the first layer of doing collage, but my favorite part would probably be the final, you know, the final layer, like the final touches of seeing it come together, seeing this creation, you know, where I start with just kind of throwing things around, you know, seeing this really coming together and like looking different than how it started, you know, or sometimes like here I'm debating, oh, is that too much? Is that too much of this, whatever color this is, honey brown, you know, and even when I make mistakes, and like I hate something, and then, you know, my saying is there's nothing white gesso and collage papers can't cover up. So, you know, you just covering it up and then doing something different and then seeing the finished product is like, oh, I just love it. So, yeah, I really like that. I really like, I don't actually know what this is. This came off of a wreath that I have hanging in my house. And I don't even honestly know what in the world it is, but it belongs in my journal. So it's gonna go in my journal. It's just where does it belong? I feel like it belongs there. Or over here. Maybe over here. Okay. Where you live and grew up have any influence on your art? No. I would say no. I live in Pennsylvania in a tiny little one red light town. And I grew up in the very next town, which is literally like 7 miles away, which is also small. It's bigger than this town, but it is also very small and has one red light. So, honestly, no, I don't like, you know, I see other people, they live like near the water, or they live near mountains or something, and they're, you know, they create work that reflects, you know, their surroundings, reflects the nature that they see. And I'm not necessarily like that at all. I don't, I feel like I would create the same type of art no matter where I lived. I'm afraid of water, so I certainly would not live near water, but you know, when I went on vacation to the Outer Banks this summer, I was very, very inspired by the nautical, you know, beachy vibe that was there. And I really did enjoy that. And what I created was kind of different than my normal, you know, my normal style. So, you know, when I went away, you know, when I went on vacation, that, you know, that changed my work a little bit, but not necessarily where I live, or grew up. I kind of feel like it doesn't, that did not work at all twice when I did that. Like twice it didn't work. Seriously, I'm out of staples. Where's my other? Jeez. This is my Flowers Magic Art Fest journal, which just ended recently, and it was amazing. Okay, I keep just rambling. I'm sorry. Almost done. What are your favorite types of journals to work in, and why? Okay, so I kind of answered that already, but I will address that. Handmade, by far, hands down. That's my favorite because honestly, I really don't feel like getting up and showing you my only journal that I finished. I think it's the only journal that I finished that was store-bought. The spine literally is completely broken. And this journal, you know, I created, and I actually created it with the book spine, but then I realized after Flowers Magic had already started, I thought, time out. This is not going to be big enough. So I literally cut the spine off the back of the cover and added more to the spine. Like I extended the spine with like cardboard and tape and stuff. And this was from a tissue box. And, you know, so I just love creating my own journals because, or using, you know, journals that were handmade by other people, where we've done like a journal swap, or, you know, someone gifted me a journal or something. It is just so fantastic for me. I like to start that way. And I love that. It's kind of like, you know, I'm not starting with that blank page, that intimidating blank page. You know, it's like my pages are already starting with something to inspire. You know, this page here was actually one of my grandmother's stenciled papers that she would stencil things when she did handmade quilts. And, you know, then it was an underpaper for me. And like this already has something on it that I can run with that, or I can just cover it up. It doesn't matter. But it has some character already. And that's what I love. Okay, last one. What's your biggest struggle as an artist and how do you overcome it? I'm thinking because that's tricky. My biggest struggle as an artist. That's hard. That's actually kind of hard because, I mean, my first thought is to not be too much like someone else. I find that I really like, you know, certain people's art. I love their style or their vibe. And sometimes I try to create something similar because, you know, maybe it's a little bit out of the box for me or something I would not have thought of. And so, okay, you know, being involved, like purchasing classes, you know, where like Wonderlust, for example, that just came out, you know, is open for registration, which I'm a teacher for, by the way. I cannot even believe it. I'm sorry to throw that plug in there, but oh my gosh, I'm like, I just can't even fathom it. Anyway, so, you know, as a student taking Wonderlust classes, like those lessons are obviously, you know, taught to us with, you know, with those artist styles and with their, you know, their kind of vibe. And some are so different than what I'm used to. And, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but I try it in, you know, sometimes in, a lot of times in my own way, but I try what they're teaching, because how do I know I'm not going to like something if I don't try it? You know, I say that to my 3-year-old all the time who doesn't want to try food. You know, I'm like, how do you know you don't like it if you don't try it? I used to be completely anti-magazine images, like legit anti-magazine images. And then I tried it in like a certain way, and then I kind of like revamped it and you know, started using them in my own way that felt right to me. And I'm telling you, I fell in love with, you know, magazine images and creating scenes from these magazine images. And it is just one of my absolute favorite things now. But how would I have known if I wouldn't have just given it a shot and tried it? You know, and those journals, like my Wanderlust journal, for example, that is like a learning journal for me. That isn't, it's not like my personal, you know, I'm dumping my heart out in this journal. It is a learning journal. You know, it's where I am creating from the lessons that are being taught. I'm, you know, tapping into some of their style, to see what I like and what I don't like, to see, you know, I might absolutely love something. I might absolutely not love something. It's using different supplies. I might love this supply. I might hate this supply, but I don't know if I don't try. So, but having said all that, I don't want to mimic someone else's style too much. You know, that's a struggle for me. It's kind of that balance, which I'm sure many artists have, is you don't want to copy, you know, you don't want to be too much like someone else, or, you know, be accused of copying. So that's probably, you know, that was my first thought. I'm not sure that that's my biggest struggle. Okay, really? I'm going to tell you, my biggest struggle is using red. There, I said it. It's as simple as that. Using red. I cannot. I don't like red. I don't like to use red. Okay, so that's a simple struggle. But that's a struggle. So as far as how to overcome the struggle, I mean, using red, well, I just have to use red and just say, you know, just do it. But as far as like copying others, you know, I think overcoming it, you know, is kind of telling myself, like I just said, like this is a learning experience, always giving people credit. You know, if you're inspired by something, or you're, you know, trying to tap into, you know, someone else's style because you just really liked it, you know, just giving that person the credit for inspiration, you know, and trying to find your own way, you know, trying to find my own way. Sometimes I create things that I'm like, oh, this really is like, reminds me of a Nook, you know, or if I'm creating something that was from like a specific person, like Lally Mill, you know, or something, I know my work that I just created, like let's say I followed one of her lessons or whatever, and I created a project for that. I know that when I go back and look at those pages, that was for a Lally Mill lesson because it totally screams her style. So, but yet when I'm just creating for me, I'm, you know, it's my heart and soul. It's my style. It's my vibe, you know, that is out on those pages. So I guess just like kind of giving yourself some grace, you know, I'm saying you, but I mean me, giving myself some grace to not beat myself up like, oh, this is too much like this person or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if that helped. I don't know if that was a way to overcome or not. So I hope that that kind of answered the questions. So those are the 10 questions. I have finished my Donna Lee Stump, my little cute girl here in her swimsuit. I have finished my pages. I hope that I didn't bore you too much. Oh gosh, my low battery thing just came on, and then I was like, please do not tell me that it did not stop recording, because those things have happened to me before, and oh my word, that's a pain. Anyway, I'm already at 40 minutes, and I don't like to be long. So thank you so much for tuning into this 10 Artsy Questions Hop. I appreciate it so much, and as do all the other artists, I'm sure. And please be sure to head on over to Laura Mix Media, the amazing Laura Dame. And I hope you enjoy. I hope you have enjoyed, the videos thus far, and enjoyed mine and my dumb rambling, and that you enjoy Laura's. And yeah, so thanks so much for joining, and have a great day. Happy creating.